Once again, I want to welcome every one of us to our class for today. It's more about, talking about last time we looked at an important topic. If you remember, grouping of notes, and I sincerely believe that we have been able to kind of go through the whole process to understand what grouping of notes is all about. All right. So today is just kind of how will I put it now? Just a follow-up lesson, which is a bit kind of different from the one you used to kind of do. So, but it's an extension anyway. Yeah. So today we are talking about triplets. Triplets. We're not going to. It's a very short topic. So within the next couple of minutes, I'm fairly sure that if you don't have much questions within the next couple of minutes, we should be done. Okay. Now, for those of you that have done the assignment, once again, thank you. I'll send you your marks probably on Sunday. You'll get that. Now let's go on to triplets. At the end of today's class, the aim is to ensure that we know how to interpret triplets, and basically also know how to apply rests within triplets. Now let's go straight to it. What are triplets? When you hear the word triplets in music, there are other lets. You have duplets, you have quadruplets, but for the purpose of this grade, let's stay with triplets. So what is a triplet? A triplet is a group of 3 notes that are played in time of 2. What does that mean? It's like something that should contain 2 people. You fit in 3 people there. You get what I mean? Something that normally just for 2 people, you fit in people there. So it means you have to just find a way to play these 3 notes in time of 2. So if we assume that if we are looking at the tick of the clock, let's say you look at the tick of the clock, and then you count 1, you look at the tick of the clock, the seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, all right? So 1, 2. That 1, 2, which is normal time of 2, you are to play 3 notes that will end up with the same duration as if you were playing 2 notes. But what will be sounding out will be 3 notes, but the duration will be the same as 2. So you're not extending anything. All right, so that's what I talk about in terms of when we talk about triplets. And how do you represent triplets? You can either connect it by a bracket or a slur and put a 3 above it. So when you see 3 notes connected by a bracket or a slur with 3, it means it's a triplet. It means actually the value of those notes, the time value of those notes is in 2s, but I'm to play those 3 notes in time of 2. So this is just the theory. When it comes to the practicality, you have to kind of learn how to do that. But you are not doing instrument or voice in your exam. You're just doing theory. So I just want you to understand the theory for now. Now, only use brackets or slur for notes that cannot be beamed. So what that means is that if it is possible to beam a note, what are the notes that have beams? Can you give me an example of notes that have beams and notes that do not have beams? Example of notes that have beams and notes that do not have beams. All right, Sister Naomi.
An example of a note that has beam can be like semi-quaver and quaver, and an example of a note without a beam is like minim and crochet.
Good. So it means that notes like crochet and minim that you mentioned that do not have beams, if you are representing them with, you are putting them in triplets, you can add a slaw or a bracket because they don't have beams. But the ones that have beams, you will join the beams together and just put 3. So you don't need to put slaw or bracket if you are dealing with quavers or semi-quavers. And these are just some of the examples of what I mean. So let's go through each of these examples in bits and pieces. If you look at this, for example, if you take a look at this one, this is what? Meaning notes. Am I right? The number one, they don't have beams. So that's why we put the bracket and then we had 3. So when you see something like this, it's triplets. It tells you that play these 3 meaning notes in the time of 2 meaning notes. So that means, however, you're going to play it, and you're going to play these 3 notes equally. So that means you have to, practically, you have to shorten the actual duration of each of those meaning notes so that by the time you run through the first one, the second one, the third one, you have been able to accomplish 2 complete meaning notes. So this is what you are, this triplet is what you are to sing or play. So we are to hear 3 notes, but the time should be the time of 2 notes. So you are not playing. So if you're not playing 1, 2, 3, no, it's not, because that would be 3. So you have to still play 1, 2. So somebody counting 1, 2, and somebody counting triplets will end at the same time. Start at the same time, end at the same time. Now, if you go further, this one is just the same thing, but this is now a crochet. You see, crochet, no beam. You use a bracket, or you can even use a slaw. You can use a slaw. You can use a slaw like this if you do, and then you put 3. You can use a slaw. But the equivalent of these 3 nodes is 2 crochets. And it goes on and on and on like that. The other example I'll just give is this. Now this one has beams. So you join them by the beams and you just put 3. So no need for bracket or slaws. And then the equivalent is just 2 quavers, 3 quavers played in time of 2 quavers. 3 quavers played in time of 2 quavers. Now, one question I'm going to ask us to kind of gauge our understanding. How do you interpret this? How do you interpret this? Can somebody help me, please?
You give it the value of 2 semiquavers.
What will you give the value of 2 semiquavers?
The 3 semiquavers being together. When playing it, the time value will be value of 2 semiquavers.
Brilliant. So 3 semiquavers performed, let's use the word performed, in time of 2 semiquavers, because you could be playing it, you could be singing it. So 3 semiquavers performed in the time of 2 semiquavers. And it goes, nobody's going to ask you this for your grade. Nobody's going to ask you this for your grade. So don't bother about it, but the principle is the same. Okay. Now, any question about this? All right. The last thing, which is like the last slide, is you could have rests. You could have rests kind of coming in within, the triplets. It doesn't change anything. For example, this is a triplet. These are just how to write a triplet. We've done this already. These are just how to write a triplet. Okay. These are different ways of writing triplets. Now, but let's come to this, the bottom side. So if you have this, for example, this is still a triplet. So you have to perform this because because the triplet is 3 beats. The beat could be notes, it could be rest. you know, nobody, it could be note, it could be rest, but as long as it is 3 beats, they are to be played in time of 2 of those beats. So if you see something like this, and then you are, maybe you are giving different notes, and then you are asked to think about which ones can be triplet. Now, one thing you have to understand is it doesn't change the time signature. It doesn't change the time signature. What I mean is, let me see if I have this. Okay, not able to. Okay, let me see if I can manage this space here. Let's see if I can manage. It doesn't change the time signature. So you have to be careful if you are dealing with. So let's say you have this. This is our 12. Correct, yeah. Okay. So let's assume you have this. Let's say for the purpose of argument that you have 4, 4. All right? You have 4, 4. That's 4 crochets in a bar. If you have this, for example, and then you now have something like this. And remember, just pardon my inconsistency. Yeah, just stretch this a bit. Remember that triplets must not be, it's not compulsory they must be on the same pitch. They can be in different pitches. Okay? They can be in different pitches. It's just, so this one now, let's say you have this, and then they put it here. So this is, or even the rest can be there, but let's just use, notes for now. But remember, it can be rest, it can be note. Now, look at this time signature. Will you say the notes are complete?
Yes.
Okay. Do we agree? Or is it more than or less than?
It's complete. The principle there is that when the number of notes is more than the time signature, from what I understand from the book, is that that is where the triplet comes in. It can be even 4, can be 5, can be 9. Then you group them and give them the value of 2, so that to fit in with the, for instance, in this case, to fit in with the time signature, because we already have meaning. So if the 3 crochets, if we give it the 2, give the 3 crochets the value of 2, it makes it 4/4.
Okay, that's that. Let me hear. Thank you very much for that. Naomi, you want to say something? You wanted to say something?
I've not got much. I've not got much to say now. I was going to say the same thing I was said before.
Okay. Okay. All right. So this is correct because remember, you are playing these triplets in the time of 2. So this triplet actually, you are going to play 3 notes, but it will still fall within 2 beats. So you have 2 crochets, which is 2 beats. That's, you have three crochets in the time of 2, which is 2 crochets, played in the time of 2 crochets, and then you have a minute, which is 2 crochets, so it's complete. So you have to do, so when you are giving something and you are said, oh, the time signature, don't look at it in, but just to address what Sister Joy said, it's not the norm that if something is, because something is, because some notes are not fitting in, you now add triplets. That may not work out every time. So don't, it may be that sometimes they may just want you to put where the bar line is. Okay, so if you find out that, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, you put a bar line. You don't say, okay, let me put the bar line after the other note and just add triplet to it. No, so it's kind of very, but you could also be correct that sometimes because they really I want to sing 3 syllables, or play 3, I want to play 3 something, but I only have just 2 beats. So I can make that 2 beats, use that 2 beats to play 3 things and still maintain that 2 beats so that it fits in with the time. Does that make sense?
Also, I was trying to say is where you have 5 notes, for instance, you want to play 3 plus 2 or 2 plus 3. So that is, according to the book, you said that is where the principle of this comes in, so that to fit in, for instance, it's 4/4 you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in some cases it works. In some, you just have to understand what the question is, talking about. So, but I think, like I said, it could be also correct that you want to fill in something, you want to kind of shrink, make sure that you still keep the time, and then you kind of, because what some people do is you can change time signature within a piece to accommodate a set of notes and go back to your normal time signature. But I'm not sure anybody will be asking you that at this level. So that's any question on that, please? Any question?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's all from where we're going to stop today. I told you it's a very short piece. Basically, today we've learned how to interpret triplets and how to apply rests to triplets. Okay. Yeah. So your assignment is when you go to page 13 in your workbook. You do both exercise 1 and exercise 2. They'll give you examples and then you see how it's being done. So use pencils as usual and send it to me the way you normally do. All right. Send it to me the way you normally do. Now, I want to also say something before I forget. Let me see. Yes. Okay, good. Now, I want to say something. Now, let me just give me 1 second. I will go back to this a bit. Let me just say something here. I hope I'm correct. Yeah, so now, please, if I just remembered I missed out on an important point. Now, please, it's not always the case that your triplets will be the same notes. For example, if you look at the first one, the triplet is meaning as a triplet, am I right? And then you play them in the time of what? 2 meaning. It's also possible that you could have something like this. So that you don't say, oh, triplets can even be 4 notes, 5 notes, as long as the value is 3 of the, as long as the value still sums up to 3 of the standard bits. What do I mean? And this can be triplet for me. So that you are aware of, this can be triplets. Why can this, am I correct when I say this can be triplets? Is this the same as this? Nobody's talking. Are you confused?
Yes.
Yes, because what matters is it's not 3. What makes a triplet is 3 bits performed as 2 bits. Those 3 bits could be anything, as long as you find out that when you did your counting, they are 3 bits and they are together. And once you count them as 2, it still completes the time signature. Please don't just take all the 3 because if you just take all the 3 bits or 4 bits and then you make them triplet, they won't complete your time signature. So you have to make sure that, okay, if I do this as triplet and I count it as 2 bits, just these 3 now, whether they are spread over 2, 3, 4, 5 notes, if I play them as triplets, would it complete my time signature with the other notes? That is what will let you know that should, because they may say, okay, look at all these notes. Which ones will you say they are triplets? You have to think about, if I say this one is triplet, yes, they are together, or they can be together, maybe they are, whether they have the same note or different note. And I take it as 2 bits of the standard bit. Would it still complete the time signature when I use that 2 and add it to the other bits? So that is something you need to, I just felt I should mention that. So that's very, 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 very important. That's very, very important. Okay. Any question? So that is, so I just wanted to mention that. So that's our assignment, page 13, exercises 1 and 2. So please submit before Sunday as usual, please. Submit before Sunday, and then we'll be able to go through the assignments with you. Otherwise, if there are no other questions, I think I will stop here. Let me stop the recording here. Just give me 1 second.